All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm looking so forward to learning from Richard today.
You're not recording.
Oh, yeah, what happened? There we go. Now I think we have a consensus that we are recording. Good morning. All right. I'm so looking forward to today. We're gonna hear from Richard. Richard is from San Diego. He was the 2024 Outstanding SRES Outstanding Service Award recipient last year. I would like to know a little bit about that from his perspective, and then all things SRES and his business and moving forward. So good morning, everybody. Good morning, Richard. Thank you.
Good morning. Thanks so much, Julie. And thank you so much, Julie and Skip, for inviting me on here. Really cool to meet everybody here, and really happy to see you guys all meeting so consistently. I think it's such a really cool and important part of what we're all doing, and kind of what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Skip asked me to come on and talk a little bit about collaboration in our industry, and a little bit about what I see the future of senior real estate being from some of my experience, and what that looks like. So I put together a pretty simple little presentation, and it'll go into a little bit of my background and basically just what I've learned over the years and the things that I'm interested in continuing to explore, and the things that we can all kind of do together in our unique position as realtors, and senior focused realtors at that. So I'm going to share my screen here, and we'll jump into stuff, and then we'll have some time for some questions and discussion, I'm sure. Let's see. Did this come through? Are you guys seeing? Oh, this might be the wrong. Hang on. Let's see here. Okay. Let me try this again.
My pet fly Fred. Fred.
You got to put a quarter in it.
That's what it is. All right, let's see here. Let me get. All right. Can you guys see that?
You betcha.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I'll jump in a little bit. And so this is me and my business partner, Newt Brookshire. We've worked together in real estate for a little over 10 years and have officially been business partners for the past 4 years. And it's been really what's opened up. I mean, I know some of you may have partners in your business as well, but it's truly opened up the capacity to try to just jump into more things that we care about. And as something we'll talk about today is, as realtors, our opportunity to just be entrepreneurial and build things and jump, go after these things that we're passionate about. A little bit about my background. Before I was in real estate, this is interesting to most people. I started an ambulance company. This is my purple ambulances here. I was a young man when I started this. I was 19 years old. It was in honor of my youngest brother. His name was Riley. And we contracted with the skilled nursing homes and assisted living homes in San Diego and the hospitals. And we did a lot of their basic life support, transport, wheelchair transportation to medical appointments. And we just had a really awesome crew of EMTs that did a lot of volunteering together at these nursing homes and skilled nursing facilities. So we would go, this is this little picture of the flowers. We would go on Valentine's Day and pass out flowers and do crafts and do different things. And so it was a really valuable experience for me to be very inundated in that stage of life for people, and gain a big passion for what older adults are going through at that time. I then jumped into real estate after I got married, and it was a big change going from healthcare and this industry where we were dealing with people at very difficult times of their lives to dealing with people in very typically exciting times of their lives, buying a house, buying their first home sometimes. And I really started to find ways to incorporate this passion for working with older adults into my real estate business. And over the years, I just noticed there's so many great agents and teams doing this so well, and all across the country. And the truth is, there's not, a very robust education in general when people are just getting their real estate license. We have the SRES, which is a great step that we want people to take, more people to take. I think it should be, frankly, part of some of the normal curriculum. But I really do see this as a really big segment of our industry, and almost a separate, focus, or a separate wing in some ways. And you guys know, working in this field and working with older adults, that there's a lot more considerations than just working with a first-time buyer or a move-up buyer. And so I think it's so cool to see these groups that are coming together and being collaborative in this way, and learning from each other and inspiring other agents to learn more too. And so over the years, I incorporated it into my business. And then a little over a year ago, had the idea to try to incorporate this more into Compass. And we brought together a group in San Diego at the Compass Retreat and presented this idea to create some form of division at Compass that would be agents that focused in this space, and really with the goal of it being an active group and finding new ways to collaborate. So what I'm going to go through today is just a little bit of what I've learned over this experience in what collaboration looks like, and what some innovative ways for that are in our industry. Many of these things you guys are already doing and working on, but I'm just hoping to share kind of like, hey, this is a broad vision that I've had and have started to learn, and am interested in continuing to explore. So, these are stats we all know and learn, and forgive me for being redundant for you guys that are all working in this already, but we know that there is a very important need here. That, from AARP's recent study, 10,000 people turn 65 every day. And another statistic that I'm very interested in when talking about collaboration and real estate is the idea of scams. And the FBI fraud report, this is 2022, so this is a little bit old. These numbers are higher, but these numbers are pretty staggering. $135 million of loss recorded from victims of real estate scams over age 60. And that's just the ones that are recorded. And so we obviously know there is a big need for greater accountability, education, and all these things in our industry in general. Some of the other things I've noticed over the years is the longevity industry is somewhat fragmented, especially when it comes to real estate. And, I think that is actually a great thing, because it leads to a lot of opportunities for more businesses to find synergies, to work together. Like even what John's talking about, building those types of relationships in your network is very important. So real estate does have a lot of synergies with other parts of the industry, but there's not a lot of tools or connectedness necessarily. And I think that that's exciting, because there's room for that right now. And what I think will always be the case is that agents are the primary connectors. And that's actually the unique thing about realtors, and something I get excited about is, no matter what your niche or what thing you're excited about in real estate is very much a personal, relational business. And you do kind of become the hub and the connector to whatever niche that you're in and whatever passion that you're pursuing in your real estate business. So agent roles in this niche, agents are really the boots on the ground. We're in the neighborhoods, in the communities. We have the opportunity to, come together and bring this somewhat fragmented industry together. And that's true for all of us. And I know many of you are doing exactly that in your local market, in your business. You've got the connections with resources, you're bringing them together. And that's a huge value for your clients. So we're very involved in our clients' lives and big decisions. And we're also business owners and entrepreneurs as real estate agents. And I just like to highlight that because it's easy, and as we get into like just production, and as you get busier in production, it's easy to lose sight of some of the power and the opportunity you have as a realtor, to really affect your community, because we really are deeply embedded in the communities. And it's easy for us to lose sight of that sometimes as agents, as we get busier and busier and, get into escrow problems and other things that we just deal with on the day to day. So increasing collaboration, I think there's ways with action, accountability, and education. These are all things I kind of already talked through a little bit. So as I think through what kind of this concept of innovative collaboration looks like, and a lot of this is just from my experience, honestly, with Compass Plus and starting to build and grow that, and understanding, while there is a really unique need for all forms of collaboration that all kind of convene and come together in our local businesses and even broadly in our industry in general. So I'm kind of talking about, hey, what do we do in our local businesses day to day in our communities? And then also, what does the real estate industry look like just from a very broad view, as it relates to the older adult space? So the avenues of collaboration that I see, one is agent to agent, exactly what we're doing today, what you guys are doing every week. It's really an important piece of this. You guys are bringing a lot of value to each other. There's opportunity to mastermind, learn from each other, grow in education, and even have transactions with one another with referrals, or helping someone's family member while the daughter is on the other side of the country, and you have ways to connect each other. So this agent to agent collaboration is a big piece of it. And then on your personal business side is agent to business. So what you're doing is bringing value to the processes for these businesses. And that's really the way I like to look at it. Oftentimes when agents are looking to grow this type of business or this type of niche, there's a lot of focus on direct to consumer. And I think that's a very impactful thing to do, but it's also a pretty heavy lift to actually grow it in some cases. But this agent to business concept, it opens up the door for a lot of collaboration. And really what you're doing is finding ways to add value to their processes. So for example, if it's a senior living community in your area, you might be meeting with the sales director to say, how can I help your clients clear this hurdle of selling their home or understanding the process of selling their home, to help them wrap their mind around what their next step is for you in your sales process. That's one way to, add value to whatever process you're looking at business to business. And just a little note on that too, just because it's something I'm also very passionate about, and as I think about things, but the most successful agents that I see in real estate are the agents that are focused on giving. And what I mean by that is people that are continually providing value and giving their time and value, even if it's not directly leading to a sale right then, oftentimes are building those longer lasting relationships. And that's not to say that other ways don't work for successful agents, but it's just a common theme I see. And there's also agents that are very successful that are chasing the transaction, and it's not a bad thing either, but it's just a different form where there's a little bit more work involved to maintain that versus building these strong relationships. And that's why it's such a good inroad. Business to business, this is very similar to what we just talked about with agent to business, but the differentiation I want to make here is, and I say value to growth. And what I'm talking about is, if this concept of something like Compass Plus or a network like this, where that can be looked at as the business, and those relationships are now connected to provide value for each other. So this is just basically zooming out to a larger scale from individual agent businesses to, hey, core group of agents that focus on this, how can we provide value for each other? So this is more about big picture partnerships, solutions for the industry, finding ways to do that together. So this could also be the example of a brokerage having tools and resources for older adults that they are collaborating in the industry with. And then the last thing we talked about already, but it was agent to consumer. And there's also a lot of collaboration in that and ways to collaborate. So really the most impactful things typically are community involvement. So a lot of you, I'm sure, and I've heard from many of you, do seminars and do things to engage the community and provide education, working with the senior centers, volunteering on the it's area agency for aging, or different things in your community can be a very impactful way to go direct to consumer and make an impact that way. So as we talk about these sort of things, and I'll bring this up, some people from here are on Compass. I know Seb, and there's probably a couple others, but you'll be familiar with Robert's entrepreneurial principles, and one of those being collaboration without ego. And I love that, and I share that with everyone because it really is a driving force for Compass, and it's very embedded in the culture. And this concept of collaboration without ego applies to all of those topics we just went through, and really that's kind of the driving factor for how these things actually come together successfully, is by people providing for each other and vice versa. Coming from the healthcare background, and if some of you are from that background, you'll know that that's very much how the healthcare industry works. They are very much looking out for each other and finding ways to add value, and then in turn, they typically extract value as well. So I mentioned some of these, and I'll just go through them briefly because we're really just talking about kind of big concepts here and vision. But some of these ways that you can increase collaboration, just as you are, is joining some of these community programs. Area Agency on Aging, it's Aging Independent Services here in San Diego, so it might be called something different for you guys. And there's a lot of networking opportunities. I know we were talking about some just before we started here with Julie, but there's so many groups where you can get plugged in and find the resources. And so building your relationship with these resources, finding the care managers, the senior move managers, the placement specialists that are in your inner circle, because when it comes to it, those are going to be the people that you're going to rely on for really taking care of your clients in the best way possible. Another way for applying this is connecting with agents in your feeder markets, finding agents just like you guys are doing, and coming together and communicating, finding ways to pass referrals, to talk about hard cases together, understand, tips and tricks from each other's, and finding ways to do that. And then talking to local businesses and finding synergies, just what Julie and John were able to connect with on just this past week. And now here we are, all of us together on this call. So that's a perfect example, just finding ways to rub shoulders with people that are passionate about this and doing the same things. So as we've kind of gone through this, some of the things that I'm most interested in and excited to continue to do is grow this concept of collaboration in our industry, and it be something that can cross brokerage lines, and agents that are in multiple brokerages able to come together and have this type of collaboration and action-oriented type growth in the space, because I've just seen the impact that it and the opportunity that it has to actually make an impact in our industry in general. And so it's something we're very excited about, and kind of continually talking about, and opening opportunities for, and finding ways to, establish that more together. So, I wanted to invite people if they want to follow along in some of those conversations and kind of just understand what opportunities we're seeing and hear more about ways that we can start to do this as agents. Feel free to, go through this link, and it will provide a little application thing just to let me know that you want to follow along on that sort of thing. And I think that there are so many really cool and unique opportunities to find ways to grow in this collaboration and learn from each other. So that's kind of my vision for the future of this, and I know it's what many are already doing. And the idea of bringing that together and learning from these bigger teams and groups and agents that are very focused on this is really exciting to me. So hopefully that was somewhat clear, and I know it was fairly concise, but I would just want to leave it open for questions, and then we'll jump on to whatever Julie's program is next.
Yeah, if we could, I'd like to jump in here and expound upon that a little bit. Obviously, the people on this call and the people that we work with are very passionate about this concept of working with seniors and helping their families. And everybody's got a wonderful mindset for doing that. But unfortunately, the collaboration part is really kind of tricky. And we've talked about this before, to find ways to bring everybody together. It seems like everybody has their own little project in their own geographic area that they work on, but nobody is reaching out and doing something on a much broader basis, which is one of the things I believe that Compass Plus is trying to do. And it seems like if we do this collaboration kind of work that Richard's talking about, I think that's going to help everybody involved, because we get more people involved, the networking group grows, the source of experts grows, and it really makes a difference. So that's why we have well, like Julie's meetup group here, it's growing pretty well now, and after what, about a year or so, and we're getting more people to join us, and we're expanding on more topics to cover on this, which is, I think, the education component is a huge feature in what we're doing with the collaboration. But um, I just, think that we all need to really do the cooperation and the collaboration to make this thing work as a business.
Can I interject? This is Margaret Walsh, and I'm in Marin County, and I'm a senior move manager and have been doing so for 32 years. And I would really love to know what commitment Compass has in mind, if it's called Compass Plus, because we work with people that fly in, they want to be near their kids, so they come to California. There's people flying in from all over the world, and we're moving them in and we're moving them out. And we do primarily really big estates, like that big senator who just died last year. We did all of her houses. But what is Compass helping you to do? Because we have a lot of Compass agents, and that's where, with Julie being a part of Compass, I mean, it's a no-brainer. So you're at the beginning of something that's going to explode if you get connected with Julie.
Well, and maybe you can touch on the Compass Plus launch concept, what they're thinking about it, because that's our demographic. And so, Richard, you could tell us about what they're thinking about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, so first of all, I started Compass Plus, and I've stepped down as the president of it. So I'm not necessarily saying, hey, let me tell you everything of the future of it, but I wanted to share like basically the concept, the goals, and what we're doing, and I'm still active in there, and so I can share a little bit about that in this concept. But yeah, Compass Plus is a really great and important program because Compass is such a prominent brokerage, and so I think if I'm answering your question right, I am very excited about that because Compass has the name behind it that really helps bring people to the industry and get recognition for it, which is probably the heaviest lift for a group like this, is to get any sort of consumer recognition. And so having that backing of Compass is very valuable for that reason, if that makes sense. And I think, and maybe actually, Margaret, if you can just expound on your question a little bit and make sure I
Are
answer
they taking it globally? Are they going to take it across the United States? Am I going to hear about it in San Francisco? 43% of our business is estate resolutions. So we're working with lawyers, trusts, executors, fiduciaries, et cetera, et cetera. But that's only 42% of what we do. The rest of it is senior downsizing or relocation or anybody moving anywhere. So is this something where there's going to be a long-term connection with Compass, so that if I have a Compass agent and we're sending somebody to Seattle, they can pick it up on the other end? I mean, you know, the really big, I only do really big houses, so that's the ones that are really complicated, and they have lots of they have storage everywhere and 4 or 5 houses, you know, those are the things I do. But that's why I can be global, I can be international, I can be domestic.
Yeah, Richard, so Compass Plus, collaborating with luxury sales. I mean, what do you see? Is there are they collaborating? I mean, is luxury gonna even like know what Compass Plus means?
So Compass Plus is national, and we've got about, I would say, 300 to 400 agents, 350 to 400 agents joining in that program. And so it does have a very good coverage. It is in all the major markets, San Francisco Bay area for sure, Seattle. We do have agents. And the beautiful thing about it is these are well-vetted agents that are part of Compass Plus. And so one of the requirements is actually the certified senior advisor. And so each of these agents that are members in Compass Plus hold the CSA. And many of them are luxury agents or bigger teams. So I can, I'd be happy to introduce you to a few if you're interested, Margaret, but we do have teams and agents in the Bay Area that do luxury and are also a part of Compass Plus. And similar to any sort of designation, the lift of getting recognition is always a big thing, even for the senior real estate specialist designation or the CSA. Oftentimes the burden is on the agents to really be advertising and letting their clients know about these programs or certifications that they have. Many people might not recognize it right off the bat either way. And so, it's kind of the way I look at it is, as agents, as a part of this collaboration, whatever program or thing that you're involved in, the agents really are the marketing tools and the resources for getting the word out for those things too.
You might keep in mind also that this is less than a year old. They've only started August of last year. So it's, a wild frontier.
Yeah.
So, sorry. Hi, Richard. This is Lynn. First of all, thank you for imparting of your knowledge. And I 150% agree about people that are giving first and finding success in that. I've experienced that in my 12 years of real estate. And I mean, just like even a tiny, tiny example, I had walked in the Silvar office and I was out of town the week before. And the person who was in the Silvar office saw me. She's like, Lynn, I have a new agent here. Can you go talk to her? And I'm like, well, I came to a meeting, which wasn't a meeting because I didn't know there was no meeting, Silver meeting that week. And so I spent that next hour because I'm like, why not? And I talked to her, and that new agent, not only there were 3 transactions just from that friendship that began that day when I just said, why not? I want to help someone new. And since then, I've been mentoring newer agents and just kind of giving what I've been given. So definitely, I love that. And I'm sorry, I've been in and out of things, but so it sounds like Compass Plus, is that like a network of series certified agents throughout the United States that we can refer to for referral business? Or sorry, I missed out on that.
Yeah, it is. And it is. So if you are looking for an agent that is in another market that focuses in this, Compass Plus is a great platform for that.
Okay, and they also have is there training that they go through? I mean, do they have like networks of attorneys and trust attorneys and CPAs and other, like people who
We went over all of that.
oh, you did. Okay, sorry.
A little bit.
Okay.
Watch the recording.
That's
Okay,
okay.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I will watch the recording, yeah, but do I need to be a Compass agent in order to refer or to find an agent in that? How do I get the?
No, you don't. I'd be happy to kind of get you connected and let you know, the best way to reach out and
Okay,
find a Compass Plus agent in that way.
sure, okay,
And yeah, happy to talk after this too.
okay, okay, yeah, that's
So,
good.
and the nice thing, Lindley, we have in our local area, because we are in the same geography. We do also have our colleagues, our Compass colleagues here with Silvar or with SCORE or with SFAR. So we can reach out. And one of the reasons why we're having Richard here is that we can learn about this, so we can interact with our own colleagues from Compass and Compass Plus. Some of our colleagues here with Compass, they don't know what Compass Plus is yet. We've talked to a couple of our colleagues and told them about it, and they had no idea what we're talking about.
Well, even some of the Compass agents don't know.
That's the Compass agents. They don't know what we're talking about.
How
So,
are you reaching them?
yeah, Richard.
Well, a couple things I'll say is, I don't want to come on here and say, hey, all of you guys, only go in Compass Plus, because I know this is a referral and network group. And I think the most important part is relationships and what relationships you have with agents and how you've built and grown those. And that's the same that goes for Compass Plus as a network. If you're referring in there, I would encourage people to build relationships with those agents and understand the programs. And the other thing is too, I think one of the things I'm very interested in pursuing is finding ways to do something similar with incorporating other brokerages and teams that are very involved, so that there is some sort of collaboration and access to some of these networks that are already out there. And so, just in general, I'll say that. But as far as Compass agents and getting to know, again, it's a process. I think, like you said, Skip, this is somewhat early in its stages, and there's lots of room for people to learn about it and start to pick it up more and decide if it's something they're interested in committing to and being involved in. I think the most important part about it, and I go back to this for any sort of group, is the integrity of the group, having the right people in the group and making sure that that's what the process is for it. So it's not just something that anyone that has a thought that they might have an opportunity to get more business can join, but more so, hey, how do we find the right people and the people that we are all going to grow from and learn from, and the people that are going to take care of their clients in the best way possible. So there's a lot of considerations when you look at recruiting and building something like that.
Can you go over the requirements for an agent to join Compass Plus?
I can go through the general ones. I'm not fully aware of all of any, if there's any new ones since I've stepped down as president, but I know that for sure the CSA is the main requirement. So
But you
certified
also
senior
mentioned
advisor.
something about the monthly meetings that they need to attend.
Yeah, I'm not certain that that's still a requirement, but that is one of the bit
Oh.
important things that we encourage is, you know, attendance at the meetings and making sure that we're all on the same page as we learn and grow from each other.
And is there a fee to join?
Yeah, they do have a membership fee.
How much is that?
I'd have to get back to you on that to let you know what they landed on.
Right.
So, and Compass is all one and the same. They're not franchises. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
So what is Robert Refkin's attitude with Compass Plus and his input? And is he going to spend money on consumer advertising?
I don't know that second question. He's so supportive. He loves this concept. He is very
Well,
passionate about it. And
why wouldn't he be? Of course he's supportive. So, but supportive in, I want to know how supportive is he if he's going to spend money on Compass Plus?
well, that's
Just saying.
above my pay grade. Let's just say that.
Okay. But yeah, because there are several national brokerages that have their divisions that they've committed to seniors in the senior demographic. So, but the brokerages I've found, they have a lot of, they talk a lot, but they don't invest a lot. But
Well,
the biggest problem, so, and I'm talking with SRES. Okay, Richard, you probably, everybody knows this. SRES is owned by NAR. We're subject to CAR and NAR here in California, but NAR, right? They don't spend any money on SRES. They don't spend very good money on any consumer marketing anyway. So when we have the national brokerages picking up the SRES ball, but they're not putting any money behind it, is a little suspect, you know. It's nice, but you know. And
well, I think
what do you think?
here's what I'll say to that. I think that any sort of initiative like this, no matter what brokerage you're in, you know, it really falls on the agents, I would say, in a lot of ways. And that's why I think this concept is so inspiring, because if you can get a group together that's very passionate about this, then that you figure it out. You know, that's what you do. You come together, you find what it's going to take to get the word out. You can find how you're going to collaborate cross brokerage, cross industry, whatever it is. And it's driven by the agents. And I know that there's benefits to NAR and SRES spending money for these. Yeah, it'd be great if they had a TV ad or they had something that really educated consumers. But ultimately, I think they're aware that, you know, a lot of this falls on the agents and coming together to do that for their own business, personal, you know, in their own markets. But this idea of collaboration where you can come together and try to bridge the gap for some of these things is where I think those opportunities come. And so it falls less on, you know, if that was the case, I agree that this is one of the more important demographics to focus on, but it would be hard for brokerages to understand where to allocate those types of funds and resources when there's multiple avenues for that. There's luxury, there's ranch and land, there's you know, all sorts of different niches in real estate. And so when agents can come together and be an action-oriented type group focused on a similar goal, I think there's actually a lot more power in that, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we endeavor to create is a sort of a grassroots collaboration and broker neutral with what we do and who we interact with, and our affiliates. So the affiliates, our adjacent service providers are just as important to everything that we do is SRES. So what do you think about that?
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it's very important for realtors to understand and stay in their lane as best as possible in this industry, because really we are the real estate experts, and we're not, you know, the placement experts. We're not the home health expert. You know, there's a lot of things that, you know, there's lines to be drawn, and when you're growing this business, that's why those resources are so important. So, having those services and those relationships in your market is very important. And I think that realtors do the best by staying in their lane and truly advising on the sale of the home or the purchase of the home. And that's what helps. And realtors can be a great guide too. I think that's the important part. When I talk about realtors' roles, we really are embedded in the community. Our clients are looking to us. They're looking to us similarly, like they say, hey, I know Richard's got a yard guy in this neighborhood, so I'm going to call him for that. You know, we can be a guide and a connector for people, but at the same time, staying in our lane, if that makes sense.
Yep. Does anybody have any questions? Ideas? Anything? Nadia? Hi, Nadia.
Hi, Richard. Thank you so much for all your great information. I am actually with Real Brokerage and wanted to see if this Compass Plus that you were mentioning earlier, is that something that is available for other brokerage to consider? I'm fairly new as far as SRES license certification I got a few years ago, but I want to focus on it more. And my background is also was nursing, so that's where my heart and passion is, and I want to be able to help that demographic. Just because when my parents were going through downsizing, I felt that there were a lot of things that wasn't addressed. So I want to make sure that I help my clients in that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. One of the things that I'm working on and working towards is bringing together the industry in a way that does bring these types of resources to other brokerages. So you do have to be a Compass agent to be a part of Compass Plus, but you know, there are other opportunities, and we're bringing together agents from other brokerages right now as well, and doing a similar type of collaboration that really supplements and highlights what Compass Plus is doing. And so, you know, you can reach out and I can let you know kind of what the future looks like for that. But I think it's great to seek those resources and find those ways to, you know, help your clients. And so yeah, to answer your question, you do have to be a Compass agent to be in Compass Plus, but there are ways for us to engage and collaborate and kind of bridge the gap for our whole industry too. So we're working on those sort of things.
Is there anything, Richard, currently available that I could utilize? I'm actually doing a seminar and wanted to see if there's any input or ideas that I could add from your knowledge, your experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. Send me an email and let's find a time to talk, and I'd be happy to talk through that a little bit with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Roni, do you have any questions? Roni, what do you think?
Hold on.
Roni,
Okay,
tell everybody where you're calling in from, because I think you win the
Yeah.
longest distance today.
Yeah, I'm actually in Long Island, New York. I don't, can you guys hear me? Because I have the headset on.
Yeah. I got
Yes.
You
you.
can hear me?
We can hear
Okay,
you.
so,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. So, I mean, one of the reasons why I actually joined this group, because I thought that collaboration is kind of interesting. It's probably the future of this concept. It's kind of slow. So, you know, that was the reason. I know that I'm like the only one all the way out here. Even the time frame is a little different for me because it's 11 o'clock for you. But for me, it's 2 o'clock going into 3. And so, but you know, if you put the time, I actually set it up on a repeating schedule every Tuesday, so I don't have to worry about it. Business out here works a little different. Mondays and Tuesdays tends to be a little slow anyway. Things begin to pick up on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, so it's just kind of like workable for me. It's almost like office time for me. And one of the things that Richard touched upon earlier, which I think is also very important, and because in New York we kind of do business a little different. There are a lot of parties that are closing. In terms of staying in your lane, we pretty much are required to stay in our lane because we don't even do escrows. Upstate New York, they may do escrows. Down here, we don't. The attorneys kind of handle the entire aspect of it, from the time that we have a contract. We have an agreement on the purchase. A lot of times we really hand that over to the attorneys. There are other aspects of the transaction that we still stay involved in, the follow through, the inspection and everything else. But in terms of staying in your lane and make sure that you're not involved in the what we'll call the unauthorized practice of law, but they are very, very big in that in New York. So so the fact that you spoke about it, it's a very important aspect here. I think this group is interesting. I kind of enjoyed it. I don't, since a lot of the things that you guys are talking about are really taking place in California, I don't mind. There's still a lot to be learned, so I'm enjoying myself. And I tend to be quiet. That's just the way I am. So just because I don't say anything doesn't mean that I'm not participating, but thank you.
Well, I just want to make sure that you get something of value, and we love to learn about like what you were just mentioning on how you guys deal with escrows out there, because it is different in New York. It's different in where you're located, and it's different from upstate to New York again. So
That is correct.
yeah, and that's super important. And then the presence of seniors real estate specialists, or this whole concept of what we're doing for you and in your geography with your practice and your colleagues. If you wanted to take it to the next level, which would be to become a certified senior advisor and get your CSA, and then you can work on a completely different level with the demographic, and you work with the attorneys. Now, hopefully, since you work with attorneys, they're the ones that are doing your transactions. They have an understanding of seniors real estate, senior everything, right? And they might not. You might
They
have
don't.
to be right.
They don't.
Did you say they might not?
They don't.
No, they
Most
do.
of them
No,
don't.
right?
They don't. So you have to teach them, you're the one with the patience, trying to walk through the whole thing. Yeah, but that's just the way. That's why, it's something that you have to do because you love it, because you enjoy doing it, because at times there are certain levels of frustration, especially when you're dealing with someone, who really, they just end the transaction is a couple days transactions. And for you, it's just more of a passion. So, that's why you got to do it, because you want to do it. Otherwise, you're in the wrong profession.
Okay, well, for us, it's a business. We're in the business, we're in the business of seniors real estate, and we're in the business of certified senior advising. So this
Cool.
is but this is a dynamic that's new and changing. It's a new paradigm that we're in. One of the challenges we have, like Richard was describing, is educating the consumers, and that is a big chunk.
So Richard, what's the next step? How do all of us get involved with what you're doing and do the collaboration?
Yeah. Well, you can follow along here and fill this out, and that would be a next step for getting involved in the opportunities that we have coming up. And I'd be happy to just share those with you guys more as you fill that out. One of the things that we're collaborating on is with a national senior living company. And one of the things that, as I go back to this business to business concept and this idea of how we can find synergies in real estate, I think senior living is a really big one of those, because it's so closely tied to what we do. And there's just enough gap for it not to feel very seamless for the client sometimes. So I always encourage agents to make relationships with these home placement specialists and know them well, because that's one of the most valuable partnerships for having this seamless experience for your clients that are moving into senior living. It's easy for agents to think, oh, I know I've heard of this place down the road here, but it's not doing our clients a very big service when someone has all of the inside knowledge of that community and others. And so one of those things is we are working with a company that is an online senior living search platform. And basically what we're doing is our agents are providing the real estate service for them. So when people are looking online and they're ready to make a move, oftentimes they're locating their senior living options before they sell their home. And so we're working those clients and those leads to help bring the right agents in front of them, and not just any agent that they end up with. So I'm pretty passionate about that and making sure that, hey, we're getting these families in front of the right agents. So that's one of the opportunities that we have. And I think we're kind of, working on that and building off that a little bit as we talk about this idea of collaboration more in a way that spans brokerages. So hopefully that answers your question. And if you fill this out, I can kind of send you guys a little bit more details on what that looks like and what any future opportunities may be.
Awesome. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Shares? Bueller? Bueller?
Seb, did this help you any understand Compass Plus? You're on mute.
I think Seb
He went to
jumped
the
off.
refrigerator.
I actually talked to Seb this morning. So
Oh, you did?
yeah, we were able to connect this morning.
Good.
Yeah.
JD,
So-
do you got a question?
No, not right now.
JD's a new agent, newer agent, new SRES, new to the business, brings many years of experience from his other industries. He's in the Sacramento area. So we have people like everywhere, which is amazing. And all kinds of different brokerages.
It's wonderful.
All righty, well, so thank you so much, Richard, for sharing that with us. All of that. We're looking forward to the expanding collaboration of everything that we do, because SRES is a business.
And next week,
Next week, we're having, I had to get the bulletin. Adult Protective Services from the Santa Clara County. Yeah, Adult Protective Services, because, fraud is just a constant thing. And one of the things that we're going to learn next week is, Deirdre is from the financial abuse specialist team. And so for us as SRES, us as any type of service provider to any demographic, really, doesn't matter, is to be able to recognize if we when we have conversations with our people, and if we recognize that there may be something going on, we have been educated and we have the tools and the resources to be able to say something. So if you see something, say something, but we're going to get educated about it so we know where to steer the conversation. Oh, so I hear this, that, and the other thing. And like, have you considered maybe contacting this agency? They might be able to help you out with that, that kind of thing. Also, it's good just for us to know. I mean, we could get,
and
go ahead.
also, I was just going to remind you that the my next SRES class, August 13th and 14th, the registration is live now, so you can register at CAR. It's the website's easy. It's store.car.org. And there's 2 classes, though. I'm the August 13th and 14th one. And remember, if you are a current SRES designation holder, you can retake it for just $99 to bring you up to speed on the new things going on and stuff that you might have forgotten. So it's a good opportunity to renew and refresh. And I'll be letting you know more about it in the weeks to come.
So, if you have any colleagues that you're working with that are not yet SRES, let them know about the next designation training, that they can get designated. If they have any, if they go like, what is that? You know, have them come join us on a meeting on a Tuesday, and they can start to learn about it and learn why it would be a really good designation for them to add to their practice and where we're going with this business.
I have a question.
Go ahead. Yeah,
Um,
Nadia.
Is Skip's class, is that via Zoom online or?
Zoom, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So you can come in your pajamas with your hair up in rollers and nobody will care.
That's fantastic.
Live virtual. Yeah.
Be my 24th class.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun and a lot of new information. And he updates it every class, every session. It's all updated. So that's why it's really good to do as an update. So. Okay, well, another question I put in the email, and then I have it in the bulletin. If anybody had any SRES successes, and if they wanted to share in the last week or month or so, go ahead, Lynn.
So I was inviting the neighbors to the Pine Avenue listing, which I invited all of you guys to come. And one of the neighbors actually was a senior, and they are thinking about moving closer to the children, and but are afraid of capital gains. And so we have a capital gains specialist. And so I met with them on Zoom, and then kind of went over all of that. And then, they were thinking of doing like 1031 because of the capital gains. So doing a 1031 exchange, like, because I also do property management. So we'll do that first while they rent close to their children. And then, after it qualifies, then do the 1031 exchange into another property, and then, have that holding time until possibly converting it back again into a primary. So there was a lot of strategy sessions that we've already had a couple of Zooms, and they just said, we really see you as kind of being the point person to all of this, just because I had, just like Richard says, the agent to what is it? Professional collaboration. There was
Agent to business.
agent, yes, very good. Agent to business collaboration. And just being to plug them in right to it. So, we can start the discussion with the planning, and there's a lot involved, right? When somebody's living in a place for 30 to 40 years. So there's a lot of logistics. So yeah, that's my little story.
So Lynn, can I ask you a question? Is the capital gain specialist the same as the 1031 exchange person?
No, they're separate.
Okay, may I get the name of your contact person since we're local for that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of you know Ron Ricard. Raise your hand.
Yeah,
You
Oh,
know
yeah.
Ron Ricard.
Ron, I'll put him in the bulletin. Yeah.
Mr. 1031.
Mr. 1031,
He
Ron
is Mr.
Ricard.
1031 exchange. I actually did a 1031. My husband and I did one with him as well, our personal 1031 exchange. And
Yeah,
there's also a lot of really good people, but he's just
Yeah.
someone who's been around for a while, Nadia. And then the other person that I refer is Joe Metz. Do you guys know Joe Metz?
Yeah, I know Joe.
So there you go. So we all know the same other businesses, right? So
Mhm.
so Julie, if you wouldn't mind putting that also in the
So
bulletin.
Nadia, you can Google Ron Ricard. It's RICARD.
So
Ron
Ron,
Ricard,
yeah,
1031.
Ron,
Something.
I-
He'll come up.
He's
Yeah.
local to San Jose.
Yeah, he's
Right.
here.
And there's Michelle. Hi, Michelle. I haven't seen her in ages.
Hi, Michelle.
I started at Keller Williams that like gosh, over 13 years ago maybe, and Michelle was one of the people there.
Nice. Amazing. All right, really quickly, I'll go over my success. My focus for the business plan for 2025 has been 55 and over resort new construction. We have 2 developments local to Silicon Valley where I am, just down in Hollister, which is like an hour and 10 minutes from here, on a 55 plus resort, new construction, new homes. The base price for these homes starts at about 710,000. After upgrades and amenities, a contract closes it at about 835. Anyway, the whole point is we've had I filled 2 luxury buses full of realtors. We take them down to the resorts. They host us, they tour us, they feed us. We get to have a lot of fabulous interaction, learn about the communities. It's in a new area. Well, I mean, it's not new, but everybody doesn't know what's going on in Hollister right now. Even I didn't know what's going on in Hollister because it's Hollister, okay? So all these communities, there's tons of them being built. They have inventory for us to sell. So that's been a focus, and that's been a really good success so far. And then the next thing I'm filling up a bus full of prospects, seniors, or anybody that wants to relocate into one of these communities. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. So if you go around and look in your areas, we have New Home Source available on the MLS. Of course, you can Google it. But if there's new 55 plus resort developments in your geography, call them up and find out what's their next move in. Do they have a move in ready unit? What does it look like? What's their price point? And say you'd like to come and visit and go from there. So there's that. And then so Seb, this was your first meeting. Was there some things here that you some information here that you didn't know previously?
I want to say I kind of knew about it. I didn't think that I really, I'm not an expert, I don't think, in any of this. So I think a lot of this stuff I've heard of, but it's just starting to fill in some of the blanks.
Perfect. I always like to find out if there was any little new nugget. There's always some new nugget in any type of interaction that I have, even just a quick visit in an elevator. So love that. Anybody else have any questions or shares?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Margaret. Margaret, you know what? I have so many ideas now. Okay. For you, I know. Okay, let's go. So excited.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Could I just say
Yes,
you
go
for,
ahead, John.
Thank you so much for extending the invitation. How often does this group meet?
Every Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. That's
Every
great.
single Tuesday. That's dedication for you, and special thanks to Julie and Skip.
Yeah.
I don't know how much Skip helps, but I know Julie does all the emails.
Oh no, he's the big boss. He's the big boss.
Thank you all.
But you guys, yeah, you really have a great niche, and I tend to keep calling in. But just one last thought that I had is it's great to know that there are these specialists, 1031, capital gains, and where I see opportunity to help your clients is looking at the holistic picture. So these can be, and I've done 1031 exchanges with my own investments. So that can be a great incremental move. But it's also helpful for the client to see the whole picture of what things look like after they've conducted that transaction. Try to make some projections on what's their cash flow like then, what is their balance sheet like then, And that's where I can help.
Yes. And we're gonna have you come and tell us all about it as soon as possible.
Whenever you guys have a slot on the agenda, sure. All right.
So excited. All right, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
Julie.
week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thanks, Richard. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Richard. Yay, Richard.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Talk to you guys later.
See you
All
later.
right. Have a great week.
Bye.